Well, this story has taken a bit of an unexpected turn. Hello, my name is Alex Does F1 Stuff, and welcome back to yet another random F1 episode. And today we are looking at Renault's withdrawal of their appeal against Racing Point. This is something I was not anticipating. I was not expecting to wake up, what day did they release it? Tuesday? I know I'm going to be a bit late to this story. It's probably going to be Saturday when this comes out. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, surprising. Why have they done this? What we've done? Oh, I sounded German then. That was weird. And then ultimately, where does that leave us now? And that is exactly what I'm going to have a little look at in today's video. So, why exactly have Renault? What am I doing? So, why exactly have Renault withdrawn their appeal against Racing Point? So Renault have been the strongest voice when it has come to questioning the legality of Racing Point's brake ducts. The French manufacturer are the ones who protested the parts to the stewards and kept the pressure on with subsequent protests. Along with Ferrari and Racing Point, they also moved to appeal the ruling, which handed Racing Point a €400,000 fine and a deduction of 15 World Championship points for running the brake ducts that were deemed to be of Mercedes and not their own design, whilst allowing them to keep the offending parts on the car. This was mainly because they didn't break any technical regulations, they only broke the sporting regulations. However, delving a bit further into the article, but on the eve of the Belgian Grand Prix, which we are currently going through now, Renault shocked their rivals by requesting a U-turn of their appeal. They said the signing of the new Concord Agreement gave them peace of mind that the originality in F1, which was the crux of their issue with Racing Point's actions, would be safeguarded. It was this signing that has been enough for Renault, now led by CEO Luca de Meo, who was in Spain and is believed to have held talks with a number of his respective counterparts for them to back off and allow them to focus fully on securing a strong finish in the Constructors' Championship. So does this seem a bit of an odd move from Renault? I suppose if you just read the headline, absolutely yes. You'd be thinking, why on earth have Renault done this? They've been the most vocal. But then you look at the article actually, when you read through it, the signing of the new Concord Agreement gave them the peace of mind that the originality was to be kept safe, which was actually one of their main critiques of the car. I'm fully aware that they wanted Racing Point to be disqualified and points removed, mainly so they could get in front of them in the championship, but that's also what happened to Renault back in Japan of last year when Racing Point protested I think it was a particular driver aid or a particular setting that they were in, and both cars were completely disqualified and lost their points from that race, whereas Racing Point have just had a points deduction and a fine. But now that Renault has officially withdrawn their appeal, what about Ferrari, and where does that leave us with Ferrari? So, Renault's decision leaves Ferrari and Racing Point as the two parties still set to appeal the decision. It is understood Renault informed Ferrari of their plans to withdraw before the announcement. However, there is believed to be widespread surprise as to the timing of the news. As of this moment, Ferrari intends to push through with their appeal as they still disagree with the level of penalty and also want further clarity on the decision. Now, I respect Renault for informing Ferrari. It would be a bit underhanded of them, I suppose, to sort of dish it out unexpectedly or launch it on them unexpectedly, but then they may have done it with the time, I'm not 100% sure. But for Ferrari to continue to push the appeal and say that it's not a harsh enough penalty, they need to get in the bin. If Ferrari wants to argue this and want a more severe penalty and they want further clarity on the decision, reveal your engine agreement. Reveal that secret agreement that was made between you and the FIA. Reveal what exactly was wrong with the car, how you were fiddling with that fuel flow meter. So we know it was a fuel flow meter, but how were they meddling with it? And what settlement have they arranged with? It's such a typical Ferrari thing to do, to still pursue this and then just go, oh no, but when we do something and we get a thing that nobody likes, that all 9 teams apart from Ferrari protested about that. They wrote that letter to the FIA saying this is rubbish and stupid. And now Ferrari are going, well, no, this is now pointless and stupid, but we still agree with our one. It's really, really not good for the sport. It's just not healthy. And then, what about Racing Point? Where does that leave us with them? So it remains unclear whether this will impact Racing Point's decision to appeal. Owner Lawrence Stroll was angry at the penalty and appalled by the poor sportsmanship of his rivals. Ultimately, he was furious that the team's, and by default his own, integrity had been called into question. Regardless of Renault's move, Racing Point may still feel that an appeal is worthy of pursuing, as they do not believe they have done anything wrong and therefore do not deserve a penalty of any kind. Now again, this is a bit of an interesting one. So we did have Lawrence Stroll come out with that massive, basically mafia boss style kind of video, really tight angle piece to camera, where it was genuinely just a touch terrifying. You know, he had that sort of tone in his voice that just, never really seen that before from anyone, especially revolving Formula 1. But anyway, as for them believing that they've done nothing wrong, they have. They definitely, they've done a little bit of a sneaky. They've done a sneaky with the rear brake ducts in particular. The front ones, not so much. So perhaps over this year they could just develop a new one. It shouldn't be that difficult to do exactly what they've done with the front ones. You have the Mercedes design, you go, okay, that's what we want, we can't have exactly that, so we'll just twiddle it a little bit, exactly like they've done with the front ones. It shouldn't be that difficult, because then it will still fit with the model of the car, as it's still based off of the Mercedes ones. So in that last line, I completely disagree with them. They've definitely done something wrong in just pinching the rear brake ducts and plopping them straight on the car. In 2021, they just need to adapt it, but obviously we've had those new rule changes regarding the copycat cars and exactly what can be taken, what can with the listed parts and all sorts of things like that. There's a lot of stuff. But anyway, to conclude the story and conclude the video, if I split my screen in half, we had Racing Point on one side arguing against the penalty rule, or against the ruling, and wanting it revoked, and we originally had four teams that were set to appeal the decision, or appeal for a harsher sanction. I suppose sanction is the word that Renault used, or Cyril Abiteboul used. But we ended up with Williams and McLaren quickly dropping out, leaving just Ferrari and Renault. And now we've just had Renault disappear, which leaves us with a head-on battle between Racing Point and Ferrari. And genuinely, this could be quite interesting. This, in my opinion, will go the distance. This will go to the Court of Appeal. This will go all the way. Looking at it, Racing Point has Lawrence Stroll backing them. They have a lot of money. They can go through the court process. They've got separate teams. It's not going to distract from the racing, because Lawrence Stroll will manage to keep that all separate. Exactly the same with Ferrari. They've got the big bucks to pursue this legally. They're whether you want to call them friendly with the FIA or I don't know, but they will see this through. But like I said before, it's very devious, it's very underhanded from Ferrari wanting to pursue this all the way, considering last year they had their secret settlement, which all 9 teams disagreed with. It's just, it's unfortunate that it's come down to this, that Renault, the most vocal, I was going to say a fancy version of vocal, but vocal team has actually backed out, as they seem satisfied, I suppose. Whether they're fully satisfied, but I don't think they will, as they wanted all the points to be gone. But Renault feel that this sport has been protected. It's safeguarded in terms of the copycat rules, whereas Ferrari, I'm sure they just want a much harsher penalty and probably want Racing Point disqualified. It will be a massive shame if that is going to be the case, because the issue has been resolved. Obviously not for this year. It hasn't really been resolved. It's sort of been given a little plaster with the €400,000 fine and the 15-point deduction. So yes, I suppose a slightly more harsher point deduction could be or forthcoming for Racing Point, I suppose. But a full disqualification from all of the races does seem a wee bit harsh, but that is something that Ferrari, I feel, are going to be pushing. But if you guys have got any opinions of your own about this whole situation and regarding my video update, please let me know down in the comments below. Also, if anyone has stayed this long, I've got a very special video coming out soon, hopefully. It's kind of like a behind the scenes. Ooh, fancy. Yes, behind the scenes of my week's worth of making videos kind of thing. And it's going to include something very special. That's all I'm going to say until that video drops, probably after the Belgian Grand Prix. But that is all I've got for you today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next video with whatever and whenever I decide to make it. I'll see you guys then.